Madam Clerk, I do believe we are ready to go. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Roll call. Councilmember Nguyen. Councilmember Brosset.
Present.
Councilmember Williams.
Present.
Councilmember Moreno.
Present.
Councilmember Gisselson Palmer.
Here.
Councilmember Banks.
Here.
Councilmember Jerusalem.
Here.
We have 6 members. We have a quorum.
Thank
Madam
you,
Clerk,
Madam.
Cindy, I'm on. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
thank you.
Thank you.
We have 7 members. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. As you all know, COVID-19 continues to preclude us from meeting safely in our council chambers still. We must therefore operate in this virtual fashion using the public comment guides outlined by the state. As a refresher to the public comment rules that we will follow today. At the beginning of the meeting, council's research officer will read the agenda for today's meeting in its entirety. That agenda is also online at council.nola.gov. There is an executive session noted on the agenda today. After the agenda is read, we will recess for 5 minutes to specifically receive public comment on the body moving into executive session. Thereafter, if we enter successfully into executive session, the 30-minute public comment period to receive written comments on all other agenda items will begin subsequent to that. Anyone wishing to comment should go to council.nola.gov and fill out an online public comment form. Only written public comment will be accepted. I know we did have some issue with Granicus that delayed us starting today's meeting. If there are any issues, please call us at 658-1070 with regards to being able to register your public comment. We want to make sure there aren't any issues there. Public comment is still limited to 1 comment per person per item. Comments should be limited to 2 minutes when read aloud and be germane to the agenda item at hand. Public comment will close rather at the end of the 5-minute initial public comment period for executive session and at the end of the 30-minute public comment section after the executive session. This will be announced so that the public can follow those time restraints, and no written comments will be accepted beyond those points. Before the voting of any agenda item, council staff will read any public comment received for that particular agenda item. Let's go into a reading of the agenda, please.
The regular council meeting of the City Council for November 5th, 2020. Page 2. 1. Approval of the minutes. October 1st, 2020, October 14th, 2020, special meeting, October 15th, 2020, and October 26th, 2020, special meeting. Special orders of business. All special orders are temporarily postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Consent agenda. All communications have been electronically received. 1. Communication from Teresa R. Beecher, Council Research Officer, New Orleans City Council, submitting the recommended agenda items for deferral for the November 5th, 2020 regular council meeting due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Page 3, number 2. Communication from Aaron Spears, Chief of Staff and Council Utility Regulatory Office, submitting the transmittal document for communications related to electric and gas utility matters to be received by the Council of the City of New Orleans at its meeting on November 5th, 2020. Report submitted by Entergy New Orleans, LLC, ENO. 1. Revised electric formula rate plan rider schedule and gas formula rate plan rider schedule submitted pursuant to R2344 UD 1807. 2. Purchased gas adjustments for the November 2020 billing cycle submitted pursuant to R03272 UD 1807. 3. Purchased power cost recovery adjustments for the November 2020 billing cycle, UD 1807. 4. Environmental adjustments for the November 2020 billing cycle, UD 1807. 5. Fuel adjustments for the November 2020 billing cycle, UD 1807. 6. Bi-monthly reports on customer interruptions for the period January 1st through August 31st, 2020, UD 1704. 7, 2020 Reliability Plan Project Status Report through August 31st, 2020, UD 1704. Petitions. 1. Petition to intervene, UD 2002, submitted by 350 New Orleans. 2. Petition to intervene, UD 2002, submitted by Sustainable Energy Economy Solutions. Comments. 1. Reply comments, UD 2001, submitted by Alliance for Affordable Energy. 2. Reply comments, UD 2001, submitted by ENO. 3. Reply comments, UD 2001, submitted by the Council's Utility Advisors. 4. Reply comments, UD 1901, submitted by the Council's Utility Advisors. Page 4. 5. Reply comments, UD 1901, submitted by ENO. 6. Reply comments, UD 1901, submitted by Entergy Future New Orleans. 7. Reply comments, UD 1901, submitted by Air Force Products and Chemicals Incorporated. 3. Communication from Amy Scalalato, requesting to appeal the City Planning Commission's decision of denial of a re-subdivision for property located at 4533 Reed Boulevard and 10149 Chef Mentor Highway. Subdivision docket number 08220. Suggested hearing date set for 11/19. 4. Communication from Ryan Gregory, authorized agent, Red Melon Restoration and Development. Notification that Lincoln Grove 1 LLC is pursuing an award of low-income housing tax credits through the Louisiana Housing Corporation for the new construction of up to 24 affordable housing units in the city of New Orleans, Lincoln Grove 1 LLC. Page 5, number 5, communication from Ryan Gregory, authorized agent, Red Melon Restoration and Development. Notification that Lincoln Grove 2 LLC is pursuing an award of low-income housing tax credits through the Louisiana Housing Corporation for the new construction of up to 24 affordable housing units in the city of New Orleans, Lincoln Grove 2 LLC. Number 6, communication from John C. Williams, Williams Architects, requesting a conditional use extension to ordinance number 27983 MCS for the property located at 1333 Cluett Street, zoning docket 9818, motion M 18471. Suggested hearing date set for 12/1/20. 7, communication from David W. Gernhauser, Secretary, Board of Lic, City Debt, informing the council that on October 21st, 2020, the Board of Liquidation, City Debt, received the following bids for the purchase of $9,500,000 Audubon Commission limited tax bonds issued of 2020. Robert W. Baird & Co. Incorporated, TIC, 2.364329%. Raymond James & Associates Incorporated, TIC, 2.651361%. The Audubon Commission Limited Tax Bonds Series 2020 were awarded to Robert W. Baird & Co. Incorporated, which offered the bid with the lowest true interest cost of 2.364329%. A copy of the final official statement will be forthcoming. Page 6, number 8, communication from Nick and Lizzy Vitter, property owner, requesting to appear before the New Orleans City Council to appeal the post-demolition fee of $12,915 for the property located at 1536 St. Roch Avenue. Suggested hearing date set for 11/5/20. 9, communication from Jenna Burke, Director of Land Use, District B, requesting to schedule a public hearing for the following restoration tax abatement application and transmitting the report on behalf of the Mayor's Office of Economic Development, approving the request for RTA application number 2018-0290, 1012 Canal Street of Raoul Properties LLC, Zalame Z Group LLC, 2525 Burgundy Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70117. Suggested hearing date set for 11/19. Page 7, number 10, report of the Director of the Vitter Commission, submitting a report detailing an appeal of the Vitter Commission's decision of denial to modify the exterior of the historic building in response to a proposed lowering of an interior first floor level for the property located at 715 Bourbon Street. Number 11, report of the Executive Director of the New Orleans Historic Landmarks Commission, Central Business District Historic Landmarks Commission, submitting a report detailing an appeal of the New Orleans Historic District Landmark Commission's denial of an application to demolish more than 25% of the front facade and more than 50% of the roof for the property located at 1531 Exposition Boulevard. Number 12, report of the Executive Director of the New Orleans Historic District Landmarks Commission, Central Business District Historic District Landmarks Commission, submitting a report detailing an appeal of the New Orleans Historic District Landmarks Commission's approval of an application to construct two-story rear addition and denial of a request to reconfigure the roof line to expand the second floor gallery for the property located at 1015 Melpomene Street. Page 8, number 13, report of the Executive Director of the City Planning Commission, Transmitting zoning docket number 7220, Councilmember Banks, 7620, Councilmember Gustafson Palmer, 7720, Councilmember Wynn, 7820, Councilmember Wynn, 7920, Councilmember Banks, 8020, Councilmember Banks, 8120, Councilmember Banks, 8220, Councilmember Wynn. Council deadline is 1/4/21. And for information purposes only, tree preservation study for all council members and the 2021 through 2025 Capital Improvement Plan, CIP, for all council members, deadline being none. Suggested hearing date, 11/19/20. Number 14, calendar number 33,142 by Councilmember Banks. An ordinance to establish a conditional use to permit an established multifamily dwelling in an HU RD2 historic urban two-family residential district on Square 7, lots 15 and 16 in the 6th Municipal District bounded by Broadway Street, Forshey Street, Olive Street, and Pine Street. Municipal addresses 3318 through 3320 Broadway Street, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Zoning docket number 6520. Page 9, number 15, calendar number 33,148 by Councilmember Wynn. An ordinance to amend and reordain Article 24 of Ordinance number 4264 MCS, amended by Ordinance number 26413 MCS, as amended, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of the City of New Orleans, to create an exception allowing the continued use of non-conforming pole signs in the Eastern New Orleans Renaissance Corridor, ENORC, Use Restriction Overlay District, and any other corresponding changes to the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance which may be needed, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Zoning docket number 5520. Executive session. Notice is hereby given that pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 4217(2), the Council of the City of New Orleans may convene an executive session during its November 5th, 2020 regular meeting for the purpose of discussing the litigation captioned Jones et al. V. Guzman et al. Civil action number 12859, Section I, Division 1, United States District Court for the Eastern District of Louisiana, Judge Lance M. Afric, Magistrate Judge North. Page 10, regular agenda, land use matters. All land use are scheduled to commence at 11 a.m. or thereafter. All public comments on land use items are subject to City Council Rule 10.1b, whereby each land use matter is limited to a maximum public comment period of 20 minutes, with speakers being limited to 2 minutes per item. No ceding of public speaking time is permitted. 1. Legislative grouping. 1A. Demolition request of Gloria Holmes, requesting demolition of the property located at 3118 2nd Street. 1B, motion number M2377 by Councilmember Banks, a motion denying the demolition permit for the property located at 3118 2nd Street. Page 11, number 2, legislative grouping. 2A, demolition request of Kyle Gilmore, requesting demolition of the property located at 1323 South Rampart Street. 2B, motion number M2371 by Councilmember Banks, a motion approving the demolition of 1321 South Rampart Street, subject to compliance with terms and plans contained within the Memorandum of Agreement by and among the New Orleans Redevelopment Authority, the Louisiana State Historic Preservation Officer, and the City of New Orleans, executed and approved by Mayor LaToya Cantrell on May 18, 2020, attached as Exhibit A. Page 12, number 3, legislative grouping. 3A, HDLC appeal of Alyssa Wernick, Director of Operations, the Demo Diva LLC, requesting to appeal the Historic District Landmarks Commission's decision of denial for demolition for the property located at 2326 Robert Street. And 3B, motion number M2378 by Councilmember Banks, a motion upholding HDLC's denial for the demolition appeal for the property located at 2326 Robert Street. Number 4, HDLC appeal of Sharon Warren, Musso Architects for 701 Chapatulas has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19/20. Page 13, number 5, legislative grouping. 5A, HDLC appeal of Rebecca Hurst, Sherman Strategies, and Tyler Thompson, requesting to appeal the Historic District Landmarks Commission's decision of denial of the partial demolition to allow for a renovation for property located at 1531 Exposition Boulevard. The report for this item was received on the consent agenda today. 5B, motion number M2375 by Councilmember Giarrusso, a motion overruling the HDLC's denial and granting the applicant's appeal. Number 6, HDLC appeal of Eric Iglesias for 1015 Melkmean Street has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Page 14, number 7, BCC appeal of Earl R. Silverstein, the Silverstein Law Firm, a professional law corporation for 715 1719 Bourbon Street has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Number 8, legislative grouping. 8A, extension request of Jason A. Riggs, managing member, Historic Pronola LLC, requesting a 1-year extension to ordinance number 027869 MCS, granting a conditional use to permit an established multifamily dwelling for the property located at 3417 through 3423 and 3417A through 3423A South Liberty Street, zoning docket 7518. 8B, motion number M2379 by Councilmember Banks. A motion approving the 1-year extension for the conditional use granted in ordinance number 027869, zoning docket 7518. Page 15, number 9, legislative grouping. 9A, post-demolition fee waiver request of Nick and Lizzy Vitter, property owner, requesting to appeal the assessed post-demolition fee of $12,915, originally incorrectly calculated at $13,050 for the property located at 1536 St. Roch Avenue. 9B, motion number M2376 by Councilmember Gustafson Palmer, a motion granting the appeal and reducing the permit fee to $5,000. Page 16, zoning number 10, zoning docket 4620, council motion M2094 has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Number 11, zoning docket 7120, housing authority of New Orleans. This item has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Page 17, number 12, calendar number 32,930 by Councilmember Williams by request. This matter has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Number 13, calendar number 32,932 by Councilmember Williams by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the City of New Orleans to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of New Orleans, the city, and Entergy New Orleans LLC, the contractor, to allow the contractor to fund the implement a smart city pilot developed through consultation with the city as more fully set forth in the cooperative endeavor agreement attached hereto and made a part hereof and otherwise provided with respect thereto. We received a request to defer this item to the meeting of 11/19. Page 18, number 14, calendar number 32,982 by Councilmembers Gustafson, Palmer, and Banks. It's been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Number 15, calendar number 33,008 by Councilmember Brossett and Gustafson, Palmer by request. It's been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Page 19, number 16, calendar number 33,009 by Councilmember Brossett and Gustafson, Palmer by request. It's been deferred to the meeting of 11/19/20. Number 20, legislative grouping. Number 17, 17A, calendar number 33018, and 17B, amendment to ordinance number 33018 have been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Page 21, legislative grouping. 18A, calendar number 33,020 by Councilmember Williams, and 18B, substitute amendment to ordinance 33,020 by Councilmember Williams have been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Page 22, number 19, calendar number 33,021 by Councilmember Williams. An ordinance to amend and reordain sections 159.1, 159.2, 159.3, 159.4, 159.5, 159.6, 159.7, 159.8, and 159.9 of the Code of the City of New Orleans to create regulations pertaining to the city's use of surveillance technology, to ban the use of certain technology, to provide for an approval process and council oversight of the use of surveillance technology, to limit the collection, use, and sharing of personal data, to mandate annual surveillance reporting, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. We did receive a request to defer this item to the meeting of 11/19. And 20B, calendar number 33,081 by Councilmember Gustafson Palmer by request. An ordinance to approve the economic development plan of the New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Fund as required by Louisiana Revised Statute 339020 et sec, and ordinance number 14118 MCS as amended otherwise reordained by ordinance number 28341 MCS and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. We received a request to defer this item to the meeting of 11/19. Number 23, page 23, item number 21, calendar number 33,088 by Councilmember Williams by request. An ordinance to grant a non-exclusive wireless franchise to Toro Blanco LLC to construct, maintain, operate, and authorize new wireless facilities on and under the public right-of-way within the corporate limits of the City of New Orleans, with locations subject to the approval of the grantor, to provide for annual payments, and the furnishing of a surety bond, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. This item was referred to the Smart Cities Committee. Page 24, number 22, calendar number 22A, calendar number 33089 by Councilmember Williams by request. An ordinance granting a non-exclusive franchise to Turo Blanco LLC to construct, maintain, and operate an above-ground and/or underground fiber optic-based communication system to provide for the furnishing of a surety bond, annual payments, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. This item is referred to the Smart Cities Committee. 22B, amendment to ordinance number 33089 by Councilmember Williams. An amendment clarifying that the adjustments to the franchise fee provided for in section 4A2 shall be based on the actual increase in the consumer price index, not the average increase of the consumer price index. Number 20, page 25, number 23, legislative grouping 23A, calendar number 33,113 by Councilmembers Banks and Williams. An ordinance to grant a request for a map amendment to apply the mandatory inclusionary zoning regulations established by ordinance number 28,036 MCS by designated certain inclusionary zoning districts on the official zoning map as recommended in the 2019 New Orleans Inclusionary Zoning Study from HRNA Advisors Incorporated. The proposed map amendment would impact properties within the core and strong market areas as shown on the map within the City Planning Commission report dated April 24th, 2020, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, zoning docket number 3120. And 23B, amendment to ordinance number 33,113 by Councilmembers Banks and Williams, an amendment to establish an effective date contingent upon the effective date of calendar number 33,318, and to require within 2 years of passage and every 2 years thereafter, a public hearing by the City Planning Commission to consider whether a market feasibility analysis is needed to inform changes to the map amendments, with the CPC ultimately recommending if a study should be conducted. Page 26, number 24, calendar number 33,122 by Councilmember Jeruso by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into a lease agreement with 373 Walnut Street LLC for a portion of Britannia Street between Walnut Street and Audubon Park to fix the annual rent and terms of said lease agreement, to declare that such property to be leased will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use interfere with the continuous use of utilities and public infrastructure within the public right-of-way, and to set forth the reasons for said lease agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Number 25, calendar number 33,128 by Councilmember Banks and Williams by request has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19/20. Page 27, number 26, calendar number 33,141 by Councilmember Giselson Palmer by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of the public right-of-way located at the municipal address 3350 Dauphine Street, to fix the minimum price and terms of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use as granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Number 27, calendar number 33,143 by Councilmember Banks by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to grant a servitude to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of the public right-of-way located at the municipal address 3987 Chapatula Street, to fix the minimum price and terms of said servitude agreement, to declare that such use as granted in the servitude agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purpose, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said servitude agreement, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Page 28, number 28, calendar number 33,144 by Councilmember Banks by request. An ordinance to authorize the mayor of the city of New Orleans to enter into an agreement to lease to an adjacent property owner for encroachments on or over portions of the public right-of-way located at the municipal address 4645 Ferret Street, to fix the minimum price and terms of said lease agreement, to declare that such use as granted in the lease agreement will incorporate space that is neither needed for public purposes, nor shall such use interfere with the use of the public right-of-way, to set forth the reasons for said lease agreement, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Number 29, calendar number 33,146 by Councilmember Williams has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19/20. Page 29, number 30, calendar number 33,147 by Councilmember Williams has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19/20. Number 31, calendar number 33,149 by Councilmember Brossette by request has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19/20. Page 30, number 32, calendar number 33,150 by Councilmember Brossette. An ordinance to temporarily waive certain fees, permit fees, and requirements at the Lafitte Greenway, field at St. Louis and North Durgeois Street, and field located at St. Louis and North Tonti Streets, New Orleans, Louisiana, in conjunction with events with an open-air cinema officially sponsored by the New Orleans Film Society to take place November 5th through November 16th, 2020, from 11 a.m. through 11 p.m., to specify the duration and boundaries of said waiver and to provide otherwise with respect thereto. Number 33, calendar number 33,151 by Councilmember Gissison Palmer by request. An ordinance to amend and reordain sections 138.2, 138.38, 138.42, and 138.43 of the Code of the City of New Orleans relative to sanitation roll carts, to define and provide specifications and requirements for city roll carts, to clarify the times at which roll carts and waste are to be placed on the curb of trash removal and placed on the curb for trash removal in the Downtown Development District, the French Quarter, Frenchman Street between Esplanade Avenue and Dauphine Street, and elsewhere in the city, and the requirements for bulky waste placement and collection in the Downtown Development District, the French Quarter, Frenchman Street between Esplanade Avenue and Dauphine Street, and elsewhere in the city, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. This item is set for noon. Page 31, number 34, calendar number 33,152 by Councilmember Nguyen has been withdrawn. Number 35, calendar number 33,153 by Councilmembers Gissison, Palmer, and Banks by request. An ordinance to preserve parade positions, parade routes, parade times, parade dates, and parade seniority for existing carnival organizations that elect not to parade in 2021, and to modify the provisions of the City Code, Section 34, 2, Subpart 4, applicable to the 2022 carnival season, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Page 32, number 36, legislative grouping, 36A, calendar number 33,154 by Councilmember Banks. An ordinance to establish a conditional use to permit a motor vehicle service and repair facility, minor, in an MU1 medium intensity mixed use district and an HUC historic urban corridor use restriction overlay district on square 653, lot 14A in the first municipal district, bounded by DeHemcourt Street, Tulane Avenue, South Lopez Street, and South Salcedo Street, and Bowdoin Street. Municipal address 3125 Tulane Avenue or 3125 DeHemcourt Street and 518 South Lopez Street, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Zoning docket number 6620. 36B, amendment to ordinance number 33,154 by Councilmember Banks, an amendment to replace the entirety of Proviso 10 as follows. The site shall be permitted to have a curb cut and driveway from Tulane Avenue and or DeHemcourt Street. The developer should continue to work to engage the Tulane Avenue right-of-way for pedestrian and other multimodal forms of transit. Page 33, number 37, calendar number 33,155 by Councilmember Gissison Palmer by request. An ordinance to amend and reordain Section 5086 of the Code of the City of New Orleans to delete the authority of certain members of the Department of Public Utilities to take oaths and verify affidavits of other members of the Department of Public Utilities, to grant certain members of the Department of Public Works the authority to take oaths and verify affidavits of certain other members of the Department of Public Works, in order to issue citations for certain offenses on the public right-of-way, and to add new subsections thereto to grant certain employees of the New Orleans Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness the authority to take oaths and verify affidavits of certain employees of the City of New Orleans Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. We received a request to defer this item to the meeting of 11/19. Number 38, calendar number 32,156 by Councilmember Gissison Palmer by request. An ordinance to amend and reordain Section 66-282 of the Code of the City of New Orleans to provide authorization for certain Department of Public Works employees to issue summons for certain violations on the public right-of-way and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. We have received a request to defer this item to the meeting of 11/19/20. Page 34, number 39, calendar number 33,157 by Councilmember Williams by request. An ordinance approving an ad valorem collection and distribution cooperative endeavor agreement by and between the City of New Orleans and the Board of Liquidation, City Debt, relating to the collection and distribution of the revenues of a special ad valorem tax collected within the city and providing for other matters in connection therewith, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Number 40, calendar number 33,160 by Councilmember Brossette by request has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Number 41, calendar number 33,161 by Councilmember Brossette by request has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Page 35, number 42, calendar number 33,162 by Councilmember Brossette by request has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. 43, calendar number 33,164 by Councilmember Brossette by request has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19. Number 44, motion lying over, number M2326 by Councilmember Giarrusso has been deferred to the meeting of 11/19 and referred to the Quality of Life Committee. Page 36, number 45, motion number M2369 by Councilmembers Williams, Moreno, Giarrusso, Banks, Gissison, Palmer, Brossett, and Wynn. A resolution authorizing the President of the Council to sign a cooperative endeavor agreement with Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office for security services for the City Council for the period of January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020 for a maximum compensation amount not to exceed $46,399.63 per month or $556,795.56 for 12 months. Number 46, resolution number R2370 by Councilmember Gissison Palmer by request. A resolution certifying that the Parish of Orleans has performed all interim inspections on all parish-owned or maintained bridges in accordance with the National Bridge Inspection Standards for the period October 1st, 2019 through November 15th, 2020, including reviewing and updating bridges load postings. Number 47, resolution number R2376 by Councilmember Giarrusso with a request to add Councilmember Banks. A resolution supporting the Iris Development's Affordable Housing Program application to the Federal Home Loan Bank of Dallas for subsidy to develop affordable housing on vacant Hano land awarded via competitive request for proposals. Page 37, number 48, motion number M2373 by Councilmembers Williams, Moreno, Giarrusso, Banks, Gissison, Palmer, Brossett, and Wynn. A motion adopting the holiday schedule for city government for the year 2021. Number 49, motion number M2374 by Councilmember Gissison Palmer. A motion stating that the City Council Street Renaming Commission shall have until November 30th, 2020 to deliver to the City Council the initial report and recommendation described in motion number M2170. Number 50, resolution R2380 by Councilmember Moreno. A resolution in order extending the applicable deadline for the City Council CARES program to December 31st, 2020. Number 51, ordinances on first reading. That is the agenda for the November 5th council meeting.
Thank you very much, Teresa. Thank you very much, Teresa. I believe we need to vote to go into executive session.
So moved.
Councilmember,
Yes, we do.
We need to,
we need to
5-minute
do a
recess.
brief public comment too as well.
Okay. 5
Okay.
minutes
Well,
after that.
Adam, should I go ahead and read it into the record while y'all, then we could go into the brief public comment?
That sounds fine, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Executive session. Notice is hereby given that pursuant to the Louisiana Revised Statute 4217-2, the Council of the City of New Orleans may convene an executive session during its November 5th, 2020 regular meeting for the purpose of discussing the litigation captioned Jones et al. Versus Guzman et al. Civil action number 12859, Section I, Division I, United States District Court for the Eastern District of Louisiana, Judge Lance M. Africk, Magistrate Judge, North. We're now going to go into a 15-minute recess for public comments.
I think it's just 5.
I mean, 5, I'm sorry. 5-minute recess for public comment.
Thank you.
That may be 5.
Council members, we didn't receive any public comments specifically on the executive session item.
So now we need to vote to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Moreno.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Jeruso.
Councilmember Wynn,
Yay.
Councilmember Brissette,
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Moreno,
Yay.
Councilmember Gissison Palmer,
Yay.
Councilmember Banks,
Yay.
Councilmember Jeruso.
Yay.
We have 6 yeas, no nays. The
Madam
meeting
Clerk.
is,
Madam Clerk, Jason Williams, I was a yea as well. I just wasn't quite as loud as Councilmember Banks.
we have 7 yeas, no nays. The meeting is now in recess for executive session.